You're listening to Real Folk with me, Jo Burke. Hello and welcome to the 17th episode, and I am absolutely beside myself excited to speak to comedy chum Darren Walsh, comedian, punmeister general, if you don't mind me saying, award-winning punmeister, no less, writer, director, actor, all the things, quadruple threat, more than that even.
I wouldn't say I'm an actor. I've messed up at quite a few auditions. I hope there's no acting agents listening to this, but I did have one. I had an audition for the part of Peter Cook in The Crown.
Oh, you would have been great as that.
Well,
they didn't think so.
Yeah, you should have seen the audition. Yeah.
What did you have to do? What did you go in and do as Peter?
I just tried to do a Peter Cook impression, and I realised I can't do one.
Did you choose one of his bizarre monologues or anything, or what did you do?
No, I think I just tried to do the voice.
Oh right, okay.
I think because you're an actor, aren't you?
Yes.
I have a real problem remembering lines, like a serious problem with it. So, like, I mean, it's kind of part of the reason why I ask people for subjects for jokes. I don't know if you've seen my stand-up or my videos.
Of course, yeah. We love it.
It kind of, the reason I ask people for subjects, because, you know, I've written loads of jokes, but I've got a weird memory. Like, I couldn't just recite them all one after the other. So asking people for subjects is kind of how it all started, really. I'd be like 3 jokes in, and then I'd just go, oh, give me a subject. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that would trigger something in my brain. I can't read a script and just remember it.
It is hard. That's one of the harder parts, isn't it, of acting and the stand-up. Remembering an hour-long routine is quite tricksy, especially yours, I always think, because when it's just one pun after the other and they're not necessarily, they might be in groups of like subjects, but it's not necessarily one thing follows the other, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I've tried all sorts, like, the memory palace thing. Where,
yes, Sherlock.
Is that a Sherlock thing?
Sherlock Holmes does that, doesn't he? On the new version of Sherlock. One. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, I never really watched that. But, I've tried them all. And, I mean, and the only thing that works for me, for my brain, is just sort of, I just need something from who I'm talking. I need some sort of trigger. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then it clicks.
I've got a bit of a weird brain.
Well, I think most comedians have, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's an awful amount of, especially recently, because everyone's getting diagnosed, like loads of comedians suffer from dyspraxia. I can't even say it. They go. And ADHD and all of those things. So I think sometimes those people that turn into creatives are often, it is because our brains work slightly differently from what's considered norm.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
I was going to say to you actually about when you first started, because I can remember we sort of started at roughly the same time, and you weren't. I mean, you did do some puns, but I can remember being in the audience waiting to go on, and you used to have a whole sound thing going on with a pedal, and you used to do. It sort of was a lot more surreal.
I mean, I started off doing. I guess it was kind of like a musical comedian, really.
Yeah.
And back then there weren't that many iPad apps or easy ways to trigger sound effects. So I'd have this foot pedal, and to change the sound, you'd have to turn the dial and then put your foot on it to trigger the sound. So I'd do a sound effect joke. It'd be quite short, a little musical bit. And then I'd have to, I'm 6'8", I'd have to bend down, turn the knob, and then put my foot on the trigger again to do the next sound cue or song, whatever. And it was just really awkward because I just
it's a long way up and back.
Yeah, I was just like, it's just like watching a giraffe trying to drink from a lake. So it was so awkward in between that. I just started doing jokes, as I was plugging in things, and then the jokes kind of grew and grew, and now I guess I do mostly that. I just tell jokes, and I don't, the sound effects I do, I don't have to bend down. and trigger a sound device anymore.
No, that's good. So things have moved on substantially since then. But the other thing you used to have as well, and I think you still do a little bit, because you do animations as well. And I can remember seeing one of your shows in Edinburgh at the Pleasance years ago, and it was there was a lot of animation and sketchy type stuff on as part of that as well.
Yeah, I do a lot of there's a projector screen in my shows as well. Yeah, I mean I have done a fair bit of animation, and it's a bit confusing because there's another Darren Walsh who's a very successful animator.
Yes.
He did a show called Angry Kid.
We shouldn't mention it in relation to you, because you're going to get loads more people thinking you're doing it again.
Yeah,
it's not this Darren, basically, people. It's Darren. There is a Darren Walsh. There's the one we're speaking with and listening to now, who is a 6'8" Punmeister general comedian director, and then there is another one who is a very successful animator.
Yeah, he has no social media presence at all. So I get.
But you get it all.
Weekly. Sorry.
So you get all of his, basically. He stepped back from it.
I just get messages every day, like, when is Angry Kid coming back? And
yes, and you even got one from me, because I thought, because you must have put something about it and I must have misread it, like you do. Hardly anyone reads Facebook properly these days.
Yeah.
And I sent a message to Darren going, I can't believe you did this. It's amazing. And he went, I didn't. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, I've got an album on Facebook, which is basically screenshots of all the messages people send me. Like I had one, because I don't know if you've seen the Meerkat adverts.
Yes.
Have you seen those? So that's animated by Darren Walsh.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I got an email from a zoo in in the middle of America asking me to open a meerkat zoo for them. Like if I'd be there.
Are you not just tempted?
I was tempted, yeah.
I mean, seriously, if he's got no presence, I think there's a film. You should just do a short film about this, or an actual film, because I mean, you could literally. Have you done one?
I did a bit in my show about all the emails I get, and some. I mean, it's usually young people, young animation students asking me advice. And there was one kid who emailed me and said, "Could you send me?" It was this song from Angry Kid. I'd never heard of it. It's called Captain Underpants or something. So I just made my own Captain Underpants song, having never seen Angry Kid or know what the original song is, and I just sent him that. And
was he happy with that? Over the moon?
I think he very politely said, "I don't think this is quite the right one." So I just made another one off the top of my head.
That's hilarious.
Yes, I might bring that back in my show. Actually, I did that about.
It's just quite one of those fascinating things. Like you could have a whole career just off the back of someone else's career. That just
Well, yeah, many people have done it.
Yeah, that's true. So you started doing the puns more as a filler, then, really, sort of.
Yeah.
So your intention when you started the circuit was to what, be a musical comedian, or just to be a
musician? I had no plan or intention or anything. I didn't know what I was doing. I just thought I'd try it.
For why? What made you?
Well, I was like, okay, I'll keep doing it another week. I was like, okay, well, I'll do it for another month. I didn't. I was really amazed by some people at the time who were like, "Yeah, this is my career plan. 2 years I want to be this." And I was like, "What? You want to make money from comedy?" I just thought it was nuts. But yeah, it hasn't. It's just been an accident that's still ongoing.
When you started out, like you were obviously saying, you didn't think of it in any sort of long-term way, but now that's what you do. That's your profession. That's what you do.
Yeah.
So your non-dream came true.
Yeah, I think your style finds you rather than you find your style. I mean, I think at my first gig, straight after my first gig, someone said to me, "Oh, have you heard of Tim Vine?" I was like, "No." They were like, "Oh, he's just like you." And then I didn't see him, and then after a few months, I was like, "Oh wow, he's doing puns and songs as well." So it's like, it's not like I saw him before I started. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You kind of style you can't choose a style. You know what I mean? It just kind of chooses you.
Yeah, and then you sort of
So
settle into what you feel most comfortable
yeah. I
doing.
mean, it was just all songs. That's what I was into at the time, like silly songs and sound effects.
Yeah, I seem to
And
remember
now
Where's My
it's
Otter?
Where's My Otter? Yeah, that's
I
on
do.
YouTube. Yeah,
Oh, is that still on YouTube? Yay!
it
That's,
is.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was one
I'll
of the
send you a
first
link to
things.
it.
Yay, memories, memories. And I was just looking at sort of some of your, I was going to say some of your newer stuff, but that's actually quite old. The one that I was just looking at is the, on your website, you've got one that you obviously did during COVID, which is so meta. It's where Darren is introduces himself. He is the comedian, and you're every
Oh
member
yeah,
of the audience as well,
yeah. I
which
forgot about that. I mean, everything was closed, social distancing, so there's no comedy clubs, no audience. So I just used myself, just filmed, cloned myself
how long
about a
did that
dozen
take?
times. Too long,
Yeah.
too long. Ironically, it didn't go viral. It got under 1,000 views. It was the
Seriously.
biggest.
Well, there wasn't much else going on, was there, to be honest? So,
No, no.
and so now you're sort of probably most recognized, I imagine, for the puns on the street.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And so you go, do you just do the towns that you're gigging in, or do you just go out and do that sometimes, even if you're not gigging there, just to
yeah.
record some things?
Yeah, usually, yeah, it's usually I'm flying before a show I'm doing in that town. Although recently I've just started doing it, on the streets of London. Mind you, that is for my show in April at the Leicester Square Theatre, so I guess I'm flying for that. But yeah, it's kind of like the jokes taking over the music really early on. Like I would fly to film my shows, and ask someone if they want a pun, and if they do, I just say this is where my show is. But now those videos have sort of taken a life of their own, sort of like more than my stand-up clips. So now I that's kind of what people expect of me. So like I
Yeah.
get messages saying, "Where are you performing?" And I'll be like, "Oh, I'm at this venue. You can buy tickets." Blah blah blah. And then they'll be like, "No, no, no. What street corner are you going to be stood on?" I'm like, yeah, I don't know what street corner I was stood on." So yeah, that's kind of what people expect of me.
Yeah, it is. And it's the thing is that you are properly, I mean, do you feel like you've hit the big time? Because people come up to you or you'll say, do you want a pun? They're like, oh my God, it's you off of TikTok. I've just seen you. Or I
Yeah,
know who you are. And it must feel, does that feel nice now that you've got to a point where actually you look like you were just saying with the COVID thing, you spent 2 months doing this meta comedy thing that didn't go viral, and then
yeah.
now you're sort of getting some recognition for what you're doing with the puns.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, and it's easy. I mean, it's for me, it's very easy to do. Uh, I've that's just kind of all I do anyway. I just want someone to listen to my jokes. I was in the Royal Albert Hall last Sunday, and someone came up to me. They went, "Oh, are you the pun guy?" I was like, "Oh yeah." They were, "Give me a pun about the Royal Albert Hall." I was like, "Oh right, yeah, yeah."
So you do,
Yeah,
you're not one of those people that no, I'm not working today, darling. There's no puns
no, I'm
today.
always on. No, a pun any time of the day is absolutely fine.
And
Yeah,
do you
it's
do that
usually
thing?
dads that approach me.
Oh, is it? Bless.
Yeah,
But the other thing is, does that mean that, because I tend to do this, that if I hear someone with a different accent, I'll start mimicking it, not to take the piss or anything, but just because that's how my brain works. And if someone says something that sounds remotely like a song lyric, I'll go into the song of it. So do you, whatever you're doing, do you think of puns of whatever someone's talking to you about? So if you're in a meeting or if you're
yeah,
not in an appropriate place to do a pun and someone says something, do you immediately in your head think of,
yeah. I mean, I'm always jotting things down on my notes. I'm just having a look, see what I mean, what was the last thing I jotted down? I mean, it won't be a complete joke. I don't know. I heard the word derogatory, and I thought, "Oh, there's a pun there somewhere." Like, I saw someone like say that this tree wasn't very good. It was derogatory, something like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then another one. I just thought I heard the word recorded delivery, and I thought it'd be funny just to go on stage and go, "I sent a letter recorded delivery," and then just play the sound effects of the letter going through the envelope, the letter going through the
Yeah, I know what you mean.
letterbox. Yeah, that might work. So, yeah, I was just constantly jotting things down.
And you still do that thing on Facebook where quite often there'll be a whole list of things that you've written down, and you'll ask your Facebook friends which ones they prefer.
Oh yes, that's right. I kind of post a top 10 jokes of the month that I've written.
So that does help. So you do take on board what people say on Facebook that are their favourites then, and they make it further down the line.
Yeah, I've done a top 10 sort of list. Yeah, and then I think I did it 15 times. So I did a top. I took the top joke from all those 15 as voted by the members of the public, and then I made a top 15. And then ask them to vote for their favourite from that top 15. So it's kind of like a tournament.
Nice.
But yeah.
Nice. And so with the TikToks, do you like people expect you to do that? So your show at Leicester Square, which is what is it, the 3rd of April at Leicester Square Theatre?
That's right.
Are there still some tickets left?
Yes.
Yes, there are. Not many though.
There are. It's sold really well. Yeah. I think it's 400-seater, and it's sold
a lovely
250.
Theatre. Oh, nice.
So
nice. And have you done that yourself or with a production company?
No, all myself. Funny, people comment on the videos, how do you and your team come up with these jokes? And it's like, I haven't even got a cameraman. It's just stuck a camera, you know.
That was going to be my other question. With the puns on the street, the camera seems very far away. So do you have someone helping you with those?
No.
What, you just leave your camera miles away? Seriously?
No, I mean, I'm ridiculously tall, so I can put it
where no one...
Yeah.
Where no other human can reach.
I'm genetically bred to be the perfect puns on the street machine.
Yes,
you know,
that's so crazy. Because that has worried me, really. Because I've gone, God, if he is leaving that, someone could just take that, and that's quite a risk.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite near me. It's quite near me.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's very clever though, the angles you get, and it looks so great. And do they sign a waiver or something, the people that, because I don't, with these days,
I didn't have an ice cream.
You what?
So I didn't have an ice cream with me.
Yes.
No, I just sort of say afterwards, do you mind being on my YouTube? Yeah. You know.
Most people love it anyway, don't they? That's the thing.
Yeah. I mean, half the people that stop sort of know who I am.
Yeah.
So that they know what the drill is, so that's really cool.
Yeah. And is it now got to the point where people are not as imaginative as you would like, and that you get the same words again and again?
Yeah, dogs and football.
Oh right, really? That's the two things. And is that because it's mainly dads that come up to you then?
No, it's a mixture of people, but everyone just says dogs.
Dogs. Oh, we're a nation of dog lovers.
Everyone says dogs or football. So I just said, no dogs or football. And cats and cheese might be next on the kill list.
Dogs, football, cats and cheese. Dogs, football, cats and cheese. Nice. Make a little song out of that. And so has anyone caught you out with something really tricksy, the way you've gone, in your head, fuck that, before it's...
Yeah, I mean, people have said, really dark subjects.
Oh,
like really
do they?
Dark. Yeah.
Oh, what do you just say? No.
I do the joke.
You do.
I just don't.
It doesn't make it to TikTok.
No.
So have you got your own dark collection of those then?
Oh no.
When puns go bad.
I haven't made an edit of the dark stuff. No.
That's always an option.
You get a lot of people arguing in the comments, I'm sure, but yeah, that's no. I mean, the vibe is like, it's like good vibes.
Yes.
I'm not out to make anyone look bad or cause any controversy like that. It's just giving people jokes, really.
Yeah. And how long are you out doing it before your shows? Because that's the thing. It's like with flyering and things for Edinburgh, and although that's like a massive extension on flyering, it is tiring to do just before a show, isn't it?
About an hour. Yeah, it can be tiring, yeah.
What prep have you done for the current show? And you're doing the Leicester Comedy and Glasgow festivals, are you?
That's right, yeah. Leicester in February and Glasgow in March.
How many days are you doing on those?
I'm only doing one day in each.
Right.
And then Hastings.
Oh, Hastings,
It's on my socials, Linktree and stuff. Yeah, I'm doing Brighton in May. That's 2 dates.
Yep.
Chesham.
Which venue are you in, Brighton?
Caroline of Brunswick.
Oh, Caroline, yeah.
Yeah, so Leicester, London, Leicester, Glasgow, Brighton, Chesham, Hastings, and then I'll be adding a few more dates.
So you and your team have booked all of those in.
Me and my team, yeah.
People don't realise what's behind it all, do they? That's the thing. It is bizarre that,
Yeah.
people just do genuinely assume that anyone these days has got a whole host of like PR and marketing behind them. Often with comedians, they just haven't.
You can do everything yourself these days. I kind of like it. I mean, it is very hard work, like editing all the videos and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm editing one right now, but yeah, it's good to have control over everything. But I do kind of need to. I do need to get some sort of help on the production. I'd say that's something I'm looking into at the moment.
That's the next step. And what about agents? So you were saying, just going back to the beginning, which was, I mean, can you imagine if you'd got the part of Peter Cook? I mean, I can't think of anyone who did do it in the end, actually.
A professional actor. Yeah.
Oh dear. So you've got an acting agent then that got you that?
No, they just emailed me.
Really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What do they type in? Tall funny people.
Pardon?
I just wonder what they typed in to research and find you. Tall funny people.
Tall comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
And I guess I am all over social media. I mean, I did Comic Relief in March as well. I had my own segment. Yeah, it was like a 2-minute segment. I was dressed up as I was pretending that I worked in Sainsbury's. I had the uniform and everything.
Nice.
I was just giving people puns.
Oh.
But yeah, that was they just asked me out of the blue to do that as well. So that was cool.
Oh, that's really nice. That's lovely. And so they filmed it all and everything, and just and the concept of it being you working in Sainsbury's, was that your idea or theirs, or?
I think it was their idea. I said, give me a name badge that just said Sainsbury's pun provider.
Ah, nice.
And I asked them to give me a sweep puppet. You know, Sweep from
City and Sweep.
Yeah,
of course.
So they got a Sweep puppet and they put him in a Sainsbury's uniform. He had his own little uniform.
Oh,
and I was like, oh, this is Supermarket Sweep.
You know? Of course.
Yeah, so it's great to get like costumes and stuff made up like that. It was really fun.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you have a taste of the machine that can get behind all of that, it's like, yes, that would be great to have, wouldn't it? So would you, if you had like a team, what would be your dream scenario? I know at the beginning of your career, you didn't set out to do more than the next gig sort of thing, but do you have a sort of prize that you would like at the end of that comedy rainbow now?
Do I have any career goals?
Yes, basically. That's a very long-winded way of saying that, Darren. You're right.
No. I mean,
no, still.
No, just see what happens.
Just pottering along.
It's nice to make a living from it.
Yeah.
If I can carry on doing that, it'd be amazing.
Yeah.
But I just keep writing jokes constantly. Obviously I have to keep coming up with different jokes for so many different subjects.
So how do you have you got like I don't know, I hate Excel and spreadsheets. Have you got like a massive spreadsheet full of all your puns, or?
I have, yes.
Is that how you do it?
Yes. Well, no, I'd say, I mean, people ask me, I'd say about a third of them I've sort of written before, and they're from a spreadsheet of about 5,500 jokes.
Wow.
And then like another third, I'll have a rough idea, like something I just told you earlier about like recorded delivery and these ideas I've had jotted down. And then the other third are just sort of, they're just sort of teleported into my head. So
you're just sort of pottering along in the comedy world until something, I mean, surely you would like we were just talking about the fact that you do need some help now. So if you had someone on board, what would that free you up to do more of the actual performing? Yeah, I mean,
I think helping people on the street, sort of a film crew, would be the next thing. I'd say that's my only sort of plan. Yeah, that'd be cool. Just like multi-angle, take it to the next level, sort of thing.
Yes, couple of cameras instead of one up a tree or a lamppost that only you can reach.
Yeah, yeah, because that is, let's be honest, that's completely stupid, isn't it?
Oh, and the other thing that always makes me laugh when it pops up on your Facebook is when you've done a gig and you record yourself, and because of your height, what happens?
Yeah, I used the act on who's on before me to frame the
Yours,
you know, before I press record, and then obviously I press record and my head's cut off because I underestimate how tall I am
even though
every time.
you've been that tall for some time.
Yeah, I mean, I'll look at the act before me and I'll frame the video, and I think now I am much taller, so if I just move it up a bit, that should account for
Cover
how
it.
tall I am. But you know, I
It's
still I still cut my head off. So
you still
yeah,
underestimate it.
it's hard
That's
to
such a bugger, isn't it? But I just
yeah.
wonder actually if the majority, perhaps there's this thing where a huge majority of comedians are actually smaller than average. So you're doing it based on what you think is an average person's height, but actually if they're smaller than average, you adding something on is still not enough,
Yeah,
is it? So
yeah,
you need to ask the height of the person before you.
yeah. Or
Excuse
just
me,
get
how
them to,
small are you?
yeah, or just get them to walk on with a ruler or something, just so you know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe I need a dummy me
Yes, on a
or a
stick, a
mop
head on
or
a
something. Just
stick.
get a stick that's my height,
Yeah,
and then ask the act on. So
just to stand
you
there
know,
with it, please.
yeah,
Thanks. Thanks a
yeah,
lot.
stick my head on it. You know.
And the other thing, a lot of stand-up comedy goes on in rooms that are basements and stuff. And so there must be loads of times when even just fitting onto the stage must be tricky.
Yes, yeah, there are venues I don't physically fit in. Um, I did a gig on a bus the other month. That
Oh, what at the
was
top?
Yeah, that
Oh,
was actually
no.
quite tricky because I mean I was literally like that.
Yeah,
It's
because they're
funny at
curved over
first.
anyway as well, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. I mean it's very funny at first, but then it's quite hard to deliver the jokes when you're sort of in a you know
Compromised.
in a cellar somewhere. But yeah, no, it's funny. I ended up just sitting down, I think.
Probably the best idea. So catching up with your life outside of puns. So you've now got a family, Darren, as well.
Yes, yeah.
Yes. So how does that make it more tricky to travel? Because the life of a comedian is pretty tough, going all over the place. Does that make it harder?
Yeah, I mean you're just constantly tired, aren't you,
Yeah.
really? The winter school drop-offs are brutal.
Do you go
You
in your
know,
pajamas?
well, something not quite, but yeah, you're not. You're just so tired. You know,
How old are they? Have you got a couple or just one?
just one.
Just one.
Yeah, yeah. She's 5.
Oh, bless. That's a nice age, though, isn't it?
It is.
All
Yeah,
interesting and cute and funny.
yeah,
Does she
yeah.
get the puns?
No, no. Kids don't get it. No, sadly. I mean, it sounds really cold, but like sometimes a family will stop and the dad will be like, "Oh, this is the pun guy. Go on, and give him a pun to the little one," and they just won't get it because it's just kids don't really get puns. Like they'll
Right.
just, I mean, they laugh at poo poo and
Poo.
wee wee and
Yeah.
stuff like that. You know,
So
so
have you found just do you find yourself wanting to write material that make your little one laugh though?
no,
No.
no, not really. To be honest, a few people have said it. Why don't you try doing kids shows? I'm just like,
No, I'd rather
nah.
chew my own arms off.
Well, people can bring kids, and they do, as long as they know there's the occasional swear word, and they're
Yeah.
fine with it. In Edinburgh, people brought kids, and it was fine. It wasn't too rude, and I think the kids enjoyed it. Yeah.
But that's not where you want to go with it.
No, no. Children's entertainer. No, no.
Not surprisingly. So, have you got anything else up your sleeve just before we say ta-ra? So, the TikTok thing happened. Do you like that as a platform? Do you think that you'll stay with that, or do you think there's anything coming up that you would change to, or format-wise you change, or fancy doing something different?
Yeah, I mean, well, all the videos are all portrait. Not to get too technical now, but they're all. Back in the day, everything was shot in widescreen,
Yeah.
16:9, but now it's literally 9:16. So everything you shoot and edit is for that portrait format.
Right.
So yeah, it is quite tricky shooting stuff for YouTube, which is landscape, as well as for Instagram, which is portrait. So yeah, I mean, don't know what else to say about that. Yeah, it's a bit of a
No.
challenge. Yeah, I guess that's part of the reason you'd need more of a film crew
Yeah, because
to
then
get
you
more
can
of the
have
wide
different.
angles and things like
Yeah.
that.
So every TikTok flyering thing that you do, how long does that take?
I
Do
edit it all,
you
yeah,
edit all of it? So
and caption it.
right. So how long does just one pun to one person on a street take to the finished TikTok?
So I shoot for about an hour usually,
Yeah.
and then I'll just look at all the funniest jokes from that, and I'll edit it down to a 90-second clip because that's the maximum for reels. So
Yeah. How normally do you get what is that three or four people or
I try to squeeze in 7.
do
That's a good
you?
question. Yeah, the more the merrier. So
Yeah,
like,
the faster.
yeah, if I squeeze as many jokes as possible, so the shorter jokes obviously work well for that.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's a really good long joke that I'll just have to put in.
And
Like there's one I'm
sometimes that
editing at the moment, and he gave me the subject bear, and I went, "Oh, be careful when you're signing a contract with a bear because there'll be a get out clause." And he just stared at me blankly, and I just went, "Urgh," like that with my claws out, and I just kept going, "Urgh," until he got it.
I was
But
just going to say,
obviously,
because sometimes there's a real lapse, isn't there? With
yeah,
and obviously you must see their faces going sort of, I'm still waiting. They're like, I'm still waiting for the pun. And you're like,
yeah,
well, that's it.
yes,
You've
yes,
had
those
it.
moments are funny
When
as
is the
well.
penny going to drop?
Yeah, yeah. No, you have to put a few of those in as well.
Yeah, they're great. They're really great. So thank you so much for having a chat with me. You're at the 3rd of April at Leicester Square Theatre. Then you're in Leicester before that in February, not to be mixed up
I
with
am.
Leicester Square. You're in Leicester at the Comedy Festival there and at
That's
Brighton
right.
in May. And I think you're in Glasgow, aren't you? Glasgow.
Glasgow, yeah, can't wait for that one. Yeah,
Have you done that
Glasgow Comedy
before?
Festival in March.
And have you done Glasgow one before?
No, I haven't. No,
Ah,
no, I'm
nice.
looking forward to it.
What sort of venue have you got? How many seater?
It's at the Drygate Peaks Bar.
Oh,
So whatever that is, it sounds like it's a pub with
pub.
the theatre.
And
Sounds
what's
good.
your show called this year? The
It's called Do You Like Puns?
Really? Who'd have thought that?
Yeah, I just thought, you know, yeah, I just thought it would people would know what it is because that's obviously my catchphrase in the video.
Yeah. So yes, so it's called Do You Like Puns, which is that what it says on the back of your Do You Like Puns is what it says on the back of your hoodie, isn't it?
Flyer.
Oh, not on
Yes,
your
that
hoodie.
is
What does it
quite
say on your hoodie?
free pun.
Oh, free pun.
And
Free
then on the
pun.
flyers it says, "Do you like puns?"
And who
Yeah.
doesn't? I think only very strange people don't like puns.
Exactly 50% of the population, I can tell you. That's
Is it a love
fact.
hate? Is it Marmite? Like you either really love it or you just absolutely don't
In
get
my
it.
experience, in my experience, it's around 50%.
And have you ever, because I mean, I suppose when you're doing gigs as part of a comedy night and you're interested as a pun, is it one of those things where if it's 50%, is it hit and miss when you're on a booking with 4 or 5 other comedians because of that? Or
No, no, not really. That's because it's in a comedy environment. All the seats are facing the same way. There's lights on the stage. The audience are focused. But yeah, I mean, when I'm asking people, "Do you like puns on the street?" It's about, yeah, 1 in every 2 will stop. Yeah.
well, thank you again for coming on board. Good luck with all your shows next year. It sounds like it's going to be a busy year. Is it your busiest? Is that the most festivals you've done in one year coming up?
Yeah, maybe.
Do you think because of the TikTok taking off that it will be, do you think that's what's helping to sell the seats now as
Oh,
well?
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook,
Yeah.
YouTube. Yeah, yeah. That's how you sell seats these days.
Not through necessary promoters and
No, well, like as I say at gigs, I'll say, "Did anyone see me on BBC One? Comic Relief," and it will be hardly anyone. And then if I say, "Did anyone see me on social media?" It'll be everyone. It just goes to show you, the reach that it has.
yeah.
Yeah,
So if you could, so you wouldn't, would you necessarily not want even if you got offered it, you were not the only one would probably turn it down, but if someone like the BBC came up to you and said, like they did for Comic Relief, like, hey, would you like a series?
You wouldn't turn that down, but yeah, you'd need to, you'd want a lot of control.
Creative
I think the
control.
best comedy series are ones where the writer has a lot of control.
Absolutely. It's the same with everything. I think with films, music, everything is better if the person that it's whose head it comes out of.
Usually, yeah. Apart from the Phantom Menace, but yeah.
Well, I don't consider. Are you talking about the Star Wars trilogy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't even consider.
Sometimes you have too much control,
Yeah, but I don't consider those. For me, the Star Wars trilogy is the 70s versions and the 80s versions. I don't all of the new ones
versions.
Yeah, make no sense to me whatsoever. I think you can go too far. I think there was a reason it started back then with episode 7 or whatever it was. I don't think the other ones needed telling.
You should do a film review podcast.
That's right. Yeah. Well, anyway, but no. So once again, cheers for coming on. And I know I've been trying to get hold of you for a while to do one of these. So thank you for putting up with me asking, and thank you for coming on. And I hope your next year is even more successful than the last one.
Thank you. Yeah, nice to chat to you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Darren. See you.
Speak to you soon.
Thanks for listening to Real Folk with me, Jo Burke.